Okay, let's talk barter for a second. There's a lot of talk about precious metals holding value, and I 100% believe that. I think they hold value, and honestly, I think it's one of the most important investments anyone can make. But just for the sake of discussion and for this video, question, what do you actually have right now that someone would trade for? So think about where you live, your house, your neighborhood, the people around you. Now imagine something happens, like systems slow down, deliveries stop, and services just don't show up. Not forever, but long enough to feel it and that you need to resort to barter and trade. So here's the question. What actually has value in your area first? Most people would agree that silver has value. No argument there. But when does that value actually show up? Because if something breaks or someone gets hurt, what are people actually looking for in that moment? I think it's something that they can use right away. Maybe not something that might matter later. So take a look in your area for a second and what actually keeps things going locally. Like who can fix things, help medically, deal with water, produce food, and keep people connected. Because when you look at it that way, I think value will start to look a little bit different. And it's not always big, complicated stuff either, right? Sometimes it's just everyday things like skills and supplies that matter no matter where you are in the world. Like, for example, being able to fix equipment or keep things running, basic medical knowledge when help is not available, growing food, even in small spaces, storing and preserving food, knowing how to find, filter, or manage water. I think that's huge. Repairing, building, or maintaining things around you. And then there's just like the simple products that people always need, things like food, clean water, fuel or energy, basic tools and supplies, a sewing kit, your clothes tear, like do you have something to fix it? Batteries, lighting, small essentials, things like that. It doesn't matter if you're in a city, a small town, or somewhere more remote, the same pattern shows up, right? When systems get strained, people stop thinking about what something is worth and start thinking about what actually works. And it kind of goes back to that question at the start. What do you actually have that someone would trade for? Think about your own situation. If things shifted tomorrow, what role would you actually play? Not what you have, but what you can actually do. And this is something you'll start to notice. Having supplies and having something to offer, they're not always the same thing, because I think early on people are going to be looking for solutions. And when you look at things right now, the economy, job uncertainty, people struggling to find stable work in a lot of places, you can already see small signs of this starting. People are helping people a lot more, trading skills, finding other ways to get by. And I saw a comment on one of my Prepper Watch videos the other day on my other channel. Someone mentioned what's starting to happen in places like India, where even access to basic things like food is becoming more structured, something like tied to a digital system. And it's enough to make you stop and think. If you don't want to be tied to a digital system to access resources or food or water or anything, how are you going to get by? Right? I think it's something that we need to start thinking about. And in some areas, access to certain things is already becoming more controlled and more limited. They're tying systems, people are tied to systems that they didn't even have to think about before. And not because like people want it that way, but because that's the direction that things are moving. And if that pressure increases, that kind of system, it doesn't feel extreme anymore. It's just becoming normal. And that does not mean, don't get me wrong, that silver or gold doesn't matter, because I absolutely agree that they do. I just don't think right away, like not right in the beginning. Because when you come back to it, the original question still matters. What do you actually have that someone would trade for? I'm curious, like what's the one thing you can actually do that someone would trade for? Please drop it below, drop it in the comments, let us know. And this is why we built prepping communities, guys, because once you start thinking like this, you realize pretty quick, it's not just about what you have, but I think it's about who's around you. And that's really what it is, right? People connecting, sharing what they know, and helping each other figure things out. Our groups and discussions right now have been really solid for that. People are in there every day sharing ideas, asking questions, talking through real situations. We also got like this huge posting directory. It's basically a place where everything's organized so you can find what you need. Things like gardening, food production, survival skills, off-grid living, water and energy. It's practical stuff that people are using, and there's well over 10,000 postings, and it's growing. We've also got Prepper Watch, which is more of the news and awareness side of things, and then things like maps, quizzes, and training events, etc. Just different ways for people to learn, connect, and actually build something useful. Nothing complicated, just because people sharing skills and figuring things out together is where it's at, because when things shift, the people who already know each other are not starting from zero. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. I hope to see you on our platform, preppingcommunities.com, where membership is free. And start thinking about it. Like for barter and trade, I think the way that things are going right now, we're going to start to see a lot more of it. And I'm curious what your thoughts are. What could you do in your area right now if something happened and you needed to help out your fellow man? Anyways, thanks for spending a few minutes with me today, and I will see you in the next video.